Hi, welcome back to the final video for part 0B of the full stack open curriculum. We're going to start on the exercises now today. So the exercises are submitted via GitHub, and by marking the exercises as done in the My Submissions tab of the submission system. We covered this briefly in the general info in part A about the submission system. So you can submit all of the exercises in the same repository or use multiple different repositories. If you submit exercises from different parts of the same repository, name your directories well. If you use a private repository to submit the exercises, add MLUUKKI as a collaborator to it. So yes, so this is the username for the GitHub that you need to add in GitHub for them to have access to your exercises. One good way to name the directories in your submission repository is as follows. So we will follow this directory pattern. Let me just quickly open up my documents. I'll just create a folder. So okay, so here we have FSO, which is full stack open, and then we will add part 0 um, for the exercises. So each part has its own directory, which contains a directory for each exercise set, like the Unicafe exercises in part 1. The exercises are submitted one part at a time. When you have submitted the exercises for a part, you can no longer submit any missed exercises for that part. Okay, so once you've made the submission, that's it. You can only submit once for each part. So HTML, the part 1 exercise is to review the basics of HTML by reading this tutorial from Mozilla. Here's the link. The exercise is not submitted to GitHub, it's enough just to read the tutorial. So here I will leave it up to you to read these HTML basics from the Mozilla page. Mostly because you should know these basic HTML principles and ideas already. There's a sort of prerequisites to doing the full stack open course. It's just to make sure that you know the basic HTML stuff. Same with CSS and HTML forms. So here are the links to those pages. They're all on Mozilla, as you can see. Um, yeah, so I'll leave you to read those. This is the HTML form one. I'll just quickly check if they actually have exercises. I think it's mostly, oh yeah, so it's just like you just follow along. Um, yeah, so you just follow along and um, read the instructions to create a form in the end. So this should be the form that you end up with for this one. And it looks like the final version for this tutorial is here, which is for the CSS. And for the HTML basics, we get to this part here. So it looks like first do HTML basics, and then CSS basics follows it up by adding styling to the example given here. Okay, great. So we'll do actual the exercises from 0.4. New note diagram. In the section loading pages containing JavaScript dash review, the chain of events caused by opening the page here is depicted as a sequence diagram. So we'll go here, and as you can see, this is the sequence diagram. The diagram was made as a GitHub Markdown file using the mermaid syntax as follows. Okay, so create a similar diagram depicting the situation where the user creates a new node on the page. by writing something into the text field and clicking the save button. If necessary, show operations on the browser or on the server as comments on the diagram. The diagram does not have to be a sequence diagram. Any sensible way of presenting the event is fine. All necessary information for doing this and the next two exercises can be found in the text of this part. So this part should give you all the information you need. The idea is, oh, let's see, it's fundamentals, forms and HTTP post, which is this section here. So from here down to Ajax should give you all the information you need to do the exercises. All these, but the idea of these exercises is to read the text once more and to think through what is going on there. Reading the application code is not necessary, but it is of course possible. You can do the diagrams with any program, but perhaps the easiest way to do is the mermaid syntax is now implemented in GitHub Markdown pages. Okay, so we will go and click on this link. I'll just close these pages. Um, yeah, so I'll leave this one open because they did say the best thing is to go through this section again. And for this one, we will go to actually I'll leave it here just because I want to get a better idea of what the mermaid syntax is like. So here's the let me just reload. Okay, so we can go to the live editor, and here's the diagram. So it does have multiple themes, so we can have light theme, dark theme. I did take a look at this before, and I think the best way is to use the retro theme for the old way of um, saving the saving the um, saving the form, the traditional way of doing it, and then we will use the let's see, we'll use the I guess the let's see with lo-fi. No, let's just use dark theme, or maybe even corporate theme for um the new way of doing things. As I think most companies now would use single page applications way of uh you developing forms. So okay, let's go back to the retro theme, and we have first let's look through and see what's happening here. Um, we will go back and look at the one of the sequence diagram examples. Where is it? Ah, here it is. Okay. So we have browser and server. Let's um, remove the stuff here and then just do mm, browser. Oops. Yeah. So browser uh, through to server or participants. So we'll add these two to make sure that there's two different entities, and then so the browser, let's see, document. Okay, we can go back to this one here, And so the first thing that is done is the user um, the user fills out something in the form and then clicks save. Actually, let's read the exercise again. Depicting the situation where the user creates a new note on the page by writing something in the text field and clicking the save button. Okay. So if we look at the syntax for the mermaid syntax, we can do browser server and this should be so let's take a look at the network again. If we enter a new node, yes, as before, there's 5 different requests. So a post request is made to the new node endpoint, which is this one here. So we can copy that in our flowchart. And then change the get method to post. As you can see, if you remember in the previous section, we did say that here is a post request. Then the response that comes back, actually we'll just look at this example again. I do wonder what the activate server does. So we'll just do activate and deactivate server to see what's happening. So let's just add this. Okay, so it looks like the activate and deactivate server adds this rectangular part here. Okay, so then we, yes, I think this is right. So actually, I think what's happening is we have the redirect, which is redirecting to the same page, redirecting to the notes page. So instead of returning the HTML, instead of returning the HTML document, the first thing that's happening is a 302 response. Yes, so we make the post request and it adds a new node, and then the server responds by redirecting the user to this page here with the 302 status code. And then the the browser uh, requests the so then we get back to here where the browser requests the this this yes, so then the rest is just pretty much the same as before. um, we can actually just copy this stuff here, I think, and then just add it to our oh, okay, one sec, there must be somewhere where I missed something. So it looks like here there should be a B. Okay, so we get the post request for the new node, and then it redirects back to this web page here, and then we get the page, which is what was redirected to. Ask for the server to get that page, and the server responds back with the HTML document. Let me just see if it's the same. Yes, so this web page matches this one here. So if I paste, there should be no difference. Yes, okay. And then so we get the HTML document. The HTML document um, loads in the browser, and when the browser loads, it sees that it needs the CSS file, so it makes another GET request to the CSS file, and the server responds back with that. And then it does the same with the main.js, and so server responds back with the request to the JavaScript file, and then the browser starts executing the JavaScript code that fetches the JSON from the server as before. Um, so the server, so it makes another request for the data, and the server responds back. We can make a slight change in this node here, write up browser, from the function that runs the nodes. This time with the new node added by the user. And that concludes exercise 0.4. So that should be what the sequence diagram is for this exercise here. I'll just check if I can. Yeah, I can save the mermaid chart here. Is it an image? No, I have to sign in. Okay, let's just sign in with GitHub. Authorize. Is there a way I can download this? Export diagram. Let's do it as a PNG. Yep. Okay, so I've got that saved. That's the first one. I think it's actually best if I can just, so I can, it looks like I can, oh, I'll just do it here for now. So, I wonder, the problem with this one is that I think the PNG, let me just look, it doesn't have the retro theme, which is a bit of a shame. So we'll just use the black one for, let me just open up the, so this is what the exported image looks like. I think this looks pretty good, so we can just save this as we can save this as exercise 0.4. So I have it as in the part 0 directory as I made it before, and now I have this image. This is basically the answer to exercise 0.4. Okay, let's move on to 0.5 and see what that entails. Create a diagram depicting the situation where the user goes to the single page app version of the Notes app. Okay, so here let's go to this link and see, not this link, we have that one open already here. I think this one is the spa one. Yep. It looks like we can probably close this one for now. Okay. Let's go to single page app. So if you do remember, there is only one new request. Single page app. So this one we would have to do again. We make the post. Let's make another post request here in the new note 2. Save. In the network. So it's called this post request. So we can probably just change the existing one here, or maybe I can do a new one. What if I went to GitHub again, and then this is not what I'm looking for. So it's yep, here it is. Okay, so we can copy this part here, and then create another post request as before. We just copy from this one, and instead of hitting this endpoint, we're hitting the new node spa one instead. And then we activate the server as before, except this time the response comes back with an application/JSON. Request also sends application, not JSON. So we will have to change the way that this. We'll probably make a note here. How do I add a note? So note writer browser. And then add it here. The user's new node content is sent as a JSON object as a payload. And then when it responds back, it responds with a 201 a 201 status code, so that's different from the previous one. And we can remove this since it doesn't do the redirection. And then make another note saying, I think let me just quickly look at the spa. And the timestamp. So, yes, the requests payload not only has the content but also the timestamp as well. Payload on the server content, the new node content, and timestamp. So the user's new node content and timestamp is sent as a JSON object as the payload to the server. Okay. Then we have the response without the header of the server. The server responds with the 201 created and the time of the server does ask for redirect. The spa version does not traditionally inform the but instead uses JavaScript as a feature. Oh, we'll look at this code even though I understand. Okay, so I think this is on the browser side. What happens when it gets the response? No, this is what happens when the user clicks the submit button. What's in the data to the server and cause a new GET request, which we don't want to happen. Then the event handler creates a new node and adds it to the list. Command push renders the list number. Okay, so it's actually doing two different things. The browser sends to the server. Let me look at the code again. So it's in the browser, it's adding to the list of nodes first, and then sending it to the server to get saved. So we will actually have to change this to say, how should I add this part? Create a node. Browser creates a, so the browser creates a node object and then appends it to the list of nodes. We can probably do like activate browser. See if we can do that here and then add the node maybe in the middle, like so. Browser creates a So first the browser creates a node object and then appends it to the existing list of nodes and then calls the redraw function to render the new node onto the page. This is done on this part of the code. So here's the new node object, gets added to the list of nodes. We change the input field back to an empty field, and then we redraw the nodes. So I'll just quickly add, let's make multiple nodes here, I guess. So browser creates a node object, then appends it to an existing list of nodes. This is the final step, and finally calls in the middle of here there should be another one. Mm, So these 4 steps can be found, it's just describing the code written here. So we get the, okay, so now we can do the post request and then have the response back to a 1. What is the response payload? Let me just take a look. Okay, we can do a node here. Mm, I'm not sure whether I need to, I don't understand why the syntax is a bit different here. Anyway, let's just keep going to denote the okay, so this I think is the yes, so this is the answer for exercise 0.5. So again, similar to this before, we'll go click this. Export diagram as PNG. Save as, let's go to web, FSO, part 0. Okay. And the final exercise, create a diagram depicting a situation where the user creates a new node using the single page operation. Okay, I think I actually got it mixed up. We should have done this. I created the diagram for 0.6. Sorry about that. So this is actually the answer to 0.6. We'll go back and interesting. So for some reason, this one was set as a different color background. I wonder why. Yeah, so we can actually use that because because it's dark, and this one was, yeah, this one's still dark as well. I'm not sure why. Anyway, I won't worry about that now. So greater than single page version of notes. So this is actually to do with the, rather than the sequence of events when a user creates a new node, it's more to do with a single page application. So if I just refresh, um, so we'll go into the single page app application and see how this works. The form has no action or method attribute to define how to create a new node. You notice that it doesn't actually go into detail as to, this is only describing what happens when a user adds a node for the single page application. It doesn't actually go into detail of how the app itself works. So what kind of diagram we can draw for 0.5. I think we can actually just copy most of the existing one here. Try making a new tab for a new version, and then so this is the traditional way of doing things. Let me just clear this up. Actually, I don't think we need this anymore. So this time around, it's looking for um, the spa link. So rather than going to making this request, it's going for this one, and then it returns the HTML document as before. And then it goes to the main CSS. So it's the same CSS, but the JavaScript is different because it's the spa.js rather than main.js. So we'll change this here. Um, and let's just read what the JavaScript is. So we do nodes. We have a function here to redraw the nodes. This is just to just to render the list of nodes. And then we have the HTTP request with the send to server function, and on load we first get the form. Where does it render the, here we go. So yes, write a browser website is going to drive the fetches the JSON from the server. Instead of doing that, HTTP request. So we don't need to worry about this. Yeah, I think this part actually is similar because we have http.open, so it makes the GET request to the JSON and just like as before. And it's making the same request at the same place. Example app data.json. Example app data.json. So I'm pretty sure this is just okay. This is similar to um, as before, but the difference is when it makes the send to server. Um, this is where the initial redraw happens. So rather than the browser executes the callback function that renders the nodes, this is the callback function as before. So we can just write something to differentiate. Executes the callback function that includes calling redraw nodes, which renders the list of nodes. Yep, and that is exercise 0.5 done. I will save the mermaid chart and then export diagram as before. This time name it exercise 5. Okay, so those are all the exercises done. It's time to push your answers to GitHub and mark the exercises done in the submission system. Okay, great. So I will just go to my GitHub account. Here I have a dashboard. Oh, sorry, I have a organization where I'm going to, yes, a repository I've already added. Yeah, it's quite easy to create a new repository on GitHub. So you can just click here and then click new repository, and then you will get something along those lines. So I've created the default repository, and then I can just go to my terminal. We'll go to and then create a new repository. So this is the same as graphically this repository here, which is FSO. So we're at FSO, and then so we'll init a new repository, add everything. Mm, Okay, so those have now been added to the Git repo. No, sorry, the Git, and then we're gonna push it into GitHub now. So here we can just follow these instructions. So we'll copy this command, and then oh wait, sorry, this is the URL. So rather than just the URL, we gotta do git remote add origin and then git push u origin main. Oh, okay. Ah, okay, so I haven't actually this is going to take some time. So I will come back um and fix this. So give me a moment. Okay, welcome back. So I will create a new repository. I had to delete the last one and then start again. So we'll create a new repository here called full stack open. Mm, okay, we'll just make that public and then create the repository. So now it looks like we can use the terminal um, to I think we can just push now. Yes, so we've pushed to the new repository added, and then we have the files here. So this is our local version. Um, Here, part 0, and then the 3 exercise diagrams, and here they are here. So if we just click on this, we can load these diagrams. Now we can go into the submission system to submit our answers. It's taking a while to load the page. Okay, so here we have it submission. So let's go to my submissions, create a submission part 0. Okay, yep, so creation part 0. Marco is done complete. So I think we can just do this 1, 2, 3, even though I haven't read the exercises. I do recommend you read those for 0.1 exercises 0.1, 0.2, and 0.3, especially if you need a refresher on your HTML and CSS. But I'll just take them as yes, Marco, and then use the hours. So probably I'd say I made 3 videos. This one's going to about 40 minutes, so maybe 2 hours. And the GitHub repository is this one here. Um, so make some comments. Sequence diagrams for and I can actually take advantage of the fact that the first one is light themed. Um, this isn't requested by the exercises, but I just want to include that too. explain why this is blue background and this is white background. So um, we can say the diagram for 0.4 is light background is in a light mode because it denotes that it is the traditional. This is optional. You don't have to include this because it wasn't asked in the exercises. I just want to add this to explain why the colors were different. Way of creating an app and the other two for exercises in dark mode to show that it okay. Yep, we can now just send, click OK, and there we go. So we have the submission and this links to our repository. Yep, that concludes part 0B. In the next video, we will continue on to, yes, we will continue on to part 1, Introduction to React. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.